Candidate has 2 minutes to make a final statement to you, and we begin with Mr. Mangrelli.
Well, thanks again for coming out and for listening to all of us going on tonight. I hope that you're better informed. I just want to say that I really believe that because I'm unique up here in that I have 7 children, 2 district graduates, and 5 currently in the schools. So I am deeply invested. I've sat on site councils at Washington. I've sat on a site council at Mile High. I'm on the baseball booster club here at the high school. My wife and I are very, very deeply involved and embedded in the schools. And we believe in public schools. I grew up in public school. I'm a product of public school. I firmly believe that this community needs a strong public school system to thrive. Our local economy is dependent on a strong public school system so that we can put out a competent workforce. We've got to attract businesses and professionals to this town so we can attract more families and more jobs to this town, and we need good education to do that. I am very passionate about public school, and teachers are my heroes. These people are in the trenches every day teaching my kids. And I want to return that favor. I want to sit on the governing board and do everything I can to improve education for our students and our families in this district. Thanks so much for coming out.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to address the PTSA and everybody here tonight. I'm here because I'm concerned in what I saw and what I'm seeing happening. And I know everyone else is. Many of you are here because you're parents and you're concerned about the school system and where we're going. You want the best education for your child and you want them to go on to advanced education based on this high school. Some are here concerned about Common Core. A lot are here concerned about their taxes. So we're all concerned on how to address the issues. What I'm proposing is that the board get into the business of running a business and managing budgets and knowing exactly what's going on with finances. I like cooperating with the administration. That's a good thing. But the administration works with the board, and the board works for the taxpayers. So people need to understand that there has to be a paradigm shift in the way that the district is run. There's a reason we're losing students. There's a reason other school types are picking up students. So all I can do is try to convince the people here that we need to change the way we do business. No? That's green? Good though. I have to look down every once in a while. I travel a lot. I consult with the government. I go all around the country and many places in the world. And I look at communities and see which ones are thriving, which ones are educating, and which stores are closing, factories are closing. And a lot of it's based on an educated workforce. But keep in mind, education is one part of the community. The most prosperous communities are production communities where they have factories, they turn out products, and so on. So when we look at this, we need to look at it as a whole problem. Education, jobs, cost of real estate. So everyone needs to get involved, from the business community, to the education community, to the parents. Thank you.
Again, I'd like to thank you for being here this evening. I really appreciate the turnout. I appreciate the fact that you've given me the honor and the privilege to serve on this board. I've learned an awful lot. I thought I knew something when I started, but I've learned so much more since I've been on it. I've had the opportunity to, as I mentioned earlier, to teach kids from kindergarten through high school and at the university level. I have a boots on the ground perspective as well as the perspective of someone who has been on a board, who has supervised individuals, who's made decisions. It's been challenging the past 3 years, 3.5 years, because we faced cuts every year. But it's been very stimulating. It's really brought out the creative juices in us, just as this next challenge that we're facing. I embrace challenges. I think it allows us to be more creative. It's been a pleasure and an honor, as I said, serving with the dedicated people here. I've never seen such dedicated workers in my life. People are trying their very best. We have some great educators, and I am amazed at those that are staying with us, and I appreciate them so much for what they're doing for kids, for our schools, the dedication of this community. I've learned so much by helping to initiate the Partners in Education and meeting our business leaders that are coming into our schools, that are sitting on our little community meetings to try to do what's best for schools. It's really made me feel a part of Prescott. I feel as though this is my hometown, and I do appreciate living here, and I appreciate the fact that you've given me your trust the past 3.5 years, and I hope you will entrust the honor to me once again. Thank you.
I also want to thank you for being here tonight. It's really been a pleasure, and I think I've learned a few things, and I hope you guys have learned something as well. We've talked a lot tonight about things like Common Core and high-stakes testing and state funding of education. These are all interesting issues. I'd like to talk about them myself. But the biggest challenge facing Prescott is local. Right? It's not Common Core. That's a problem, but that's not the biggest problem facing Prescott. The biggest problem facing Prescott is local. It's our budget. It's funding for our schools. It's right-sizing our schools. And, in January, I was appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. And one of the things we're doing right now is looking at the general plan. What is Prescott going to look like 5 years from now, 10 years down the road? Well, I can just tell you it's going to look a lot like it does today, only more so. It will continue to be an economy based on tourism and government services and retirement. Prescott's not going to grow in the next 5 or 10 years the way it grew back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. We don't have the water, we don't have the building lots, right? So Prescott's going to continue to grow and we'll continue to prosper, but there's not going to be a big building boom. Our schools are not going to have a big influx of students, not here in Prescott in any event. So, how do we get from here to there? We are a declining school system in terms of numbers, and that's likely to continue. Right? There are other school choices, charter schools and homeschooling and online learning. There are other school options that people have. So our district schools are very likely to continue to lose students for the foreseeable future. But a smaller school system doesn't mean lower quality. We can have excellent schools even with fewer students. So I think that we have some difficult decisions to make, and I think that if we continue doing what we've been doing, unless we bring in, as Mr. Lamberson says, a new paradigm, we're going to end up in the same place that we have been. And there's no reason for that. We can obviously make changes. We can make smart choices. We can close facilities. We can optimize our assets in terms of sale and liquidation. We can bring additional funds into the community in that way. It's not going to happen through taxes. We've tried that route. It's simply not going to work with the demographic that we have here. Thank you.